Today, I'm taking a look at one of a kind of a camera, the Epson RD1. World's first digital rangefinder camera with a twist. A very rare and niche camera for those who want the best film camera-like feel with digital sensor. The Epson RD1 is the world's first digital rangefinder camera, so technically it is digital like us daddy. So far I've put over 30 rolls of film through it. I shot over 1,000 photos, which might seem not so much for a digital camera, but I really do treat it like a film camera. I take my time and decide whether it's worth to take the shot. Also, this is not a camera you can just spray and pray with anyway, but more on that a little later. I took out the camera on multiple occasions in the past few months, and unless dark, RD1 performs very well and is easy and fun to use. RD1 was jointly developed by Seiko, Epson and Cosina and manufactured in 2004 by the latter, which is also known for Cosina Voigtlander products. It uses Leica M-mount lenses and features 3 separate frame lines. An unusual and arguably the main feature of RD1 is that it is a digital camera that has a manually wound shutter. Another interesting feature is the watch-like dial provided by Seiko. Important information such as white balance, battery level, photo quality selection and shots remaining are all displayed with servo-driven indicators on that dial. The film advance lever. Oh yeah, this is the bread and butter of this camera. This lever winds the shutter, so you need to crank it before every shot. Thanks to this lever, it feels so good to use, and it looks cool. Yes, consecutive shooting is fairly slow, but this camera isn't meant for that anyway. If you don't wind it, the shutter speed indicator will not show up in the viewfinder, so you'll know you need to crank it to take a shot. But while the lever mechanically rewinds the shutter, which technically saves battery, the battery life is still as awful. I own 3 functional batteries, and while they are pretty small and easy to carry, you're doomed if you forget them and want to shoot a lot. On the topic of having to bring spare batteries, the largest SD card capacity this camera supports is 2 GB. That means you'll get just a bit over 100 photos when shooting RAW plus JPEG. You'll most likely need to change batteries before running out of storage, but still, if you plan on shooting a lot, you'll need to bring more than one of those. Shutter speed on this beast range from 1 second all the way down to 1/2000th of a second. Then there's a bulb mode. There's also automatic exposure on the same dial, with 2 stops of exposure compensation in both directions. ISO can be set to either 200, 400, 800 or 1600, the latter 2 being fairly noisy, but 800 still seems usable. RD1 sports CCD 6.1 megapixel crop factor sensor, same one used in Nikon D100 for example, dating back to 2002. So the sensor isn't exactly super high resolution, but it is enough for stuff like social media. And in my opinion, it renders colors and space beautifully. RD1 doesn't automatically align frame lines based on the lens. You can switch between 3 frame lines at will, 28, 35 and 50 mm. This is based on the focal length of the lens rather than the crop equivalent. The frame lines and rangefinder patch are clear and bright, but the best part about the viewfinder is that it is 1:1 ratio, meaning you don't need to close your other eye while composing. Very enjoyable once you get used to it. There's small and frankly not very good retractable LCD on the back, which I usually leave folded in. Apart from reviewing photos, you can use the LCD to access a simple settings menu. There's an option for black and white JPEGs to which you can add simulated filters and also adjust presets for colored JPEGs, but that is mostly it. Oh, and there's a print order option since it is made by Epson. You navigate the menu with the film rewind knob on the left, which is probably the best part of the menu. There's analog settings for white balance, which I just leave on auto, and also photo quality, where you can choose either RAW, high or normal JPEG. Next to that lever is exposure lock, which comes in handy during auto exposure, since the light meter is center weighted and doesn't handle backlit subjects well. That's mostly it for a quick overview of functions and buttons. Here are a few more shots I took in the evening when we visited Rinkai-koen, a park by the Tokyo Bay overlooking the heart of Tokyo with Mount Fuji in the distance. We started off in Asakusa area where we had lunch and shot some warm-up shots. Then we made our way to the park. It was already around golden hour when we got there, so we didn't have much time left, but the light was amazing. Alright, that's it this time. See you in the next one. Okay, bye.